Hi, and welcome back to Pages and Projects with Liz. Today I have my May TBR video, and this one's going to be a little different because I am taking part of Goober's Culinary Study Plan. So I will pop up the list of all of the prompts here. One of my goals, again, was to take part in some different reading challenges. So I was doing the Books by Lala cover challenge and buzzword challenge, and those are going really well. So this is going to be the last one for my goal. I'm definitely planning on participating in some others later in the year, but this one seemed like it would be a really fun one to do. So with that said, I've got a couple of books that I am planning to use to start out my TBR for this. So with this reading challenge, there's a part A and a part B. And for the part A books, you have to go in order for each of the categories. So you have to do the 1-point book before the 2-point book, etc. I will also link the video that goes over all of the rules for this challenge. It goes in far more depth than I'm going to do. But I went ahead and I picked some books for a couple of the 1-pointers, and then even for some of the categories, the other books, I just need to make sure that I read them in the correct order for it to count. And so I'm going to go through the ones that I have selected for that. So for the first category, kitchen basics, the very first one is Food Safety, a book you think you'll like. And so for that, I am going with Strange Houses by Yuketsu. So I read Strange Pictures last year, really loved it, bought the other two. You'll see the other one later on in here. This is a book that I think I am really going to enjoy because I enjoyed the first one, and also reading through these will help check off more series. It is a translated mystery. There's different floor plans in there. And I am really looking forward to reading this book and have been looking forward to it for a while now. Next up is menu planning, and the 2-point for this was the planned to read this year. And so for that, I am going with The Ending Writes Itself by Evelyn Clark. This is a book that I didn't necessarily pick at the beginning of the year as something I planned to read this year. I didn't set a list of books like that, but it is one of my subscription box books, and so I have planned to read at least half of them this year. And so this being one that I've acquired this year is most certainly a book that I have planned on reading for this year. And then the third book in the Kitchen's Basics was Produce Sourcing, a newly acquired book. And for that, I'm going to wait and see what I get in the month of May. So again, for some of these categories, I've got a rough idea, but I don't have a set book for it. And so this will likely be one of the books that comes in a subscription box in the month of May. So assuming that they come in on time to be able to read that. And it's great with it being one of the last books for this particular category. Otherwise, I'm sure I will end up acquiring another book at some point, and so I'll go through and select that. The next category was cooking techniques, and the 1-point book for that was Air Frying, has 300 pages or less. And for that, I am selecting The Book Witch by Meg Schaefer. So again, another recent book of the month book, so it'll help me out with getting to that 50% goal, really trying to pick up speed with that. And it comes in without the acknowledgements, because I don't count those pages, 297, so just under 300 pages. For the other two books in this particular category, if I end up reading through the entire category, I haven't decided exactly what I'm going to select. The next one is a book that you read in 24 hours, so lots of options there. And then after that is something that has a 4-star or higher rating. And so again, I'll go ahead and select that later on once I'm further along with reading from this category. The next category is Nature's Kitchen, and this one I don't have any pre-selected books for. So it's going to be a recommendation by the community. There's already a spreadsheet going with a lot of books, and I'm just going to look through and pick something that strikes my interest at the point that I'm going through it. A borrowed book I borrow from the Libby app from my library. So again, I'll see what happens then. And a book that is read and donated. So again, a pretty easy category. This is one that I expect that I will finish through all 3 levels. Some of these I don't expect that I'm going to read everything in the category. But that one I think I'll end up doing. And I just want a couple of areas with flexibility to read what I'm interested in as I'm interested in it. Next is Chef's Journey, and the first one is Home Cooking, a book you already own. And for this, I am selecting a Kindle book, Two Wrongs Make a Right by Chloe Leese. This one I'm reading for one of the buzzword challenges. So for the month of May, you need to tab make, maker, or making. For a lot of the other months, I have read ahead, but I do need to read something with one of those 3 words in it this month. And that's the only book I have with that. So great that I already own it. I can use it for both challenges. The other 2 are street food. So has an eye-catching cover and fine dining, a special edition book. I have plenty of those, so if I want to go through and finish out that category, I've got a lot of options. Again, I'll pick something that's interesting me at that point. Next is the category of international cuisine. The first book is Eat Local, an author from or in your country. And so went with another recent book, Yesteryear by Carol Claire Burke. So she is in United States. Again, another new book of the month book. I've heard a lot about it and I want to read it before I get spoiled to what's happening in it. The next category is global foods, an author from or in another country. And so for this one, I went with 5 Survive by Holly Jackson. So I've read the other books I own by her. I haven't read this one yet. So I thought it would be a fun book to go through. And again, just trying to work through my physical TBR. She is from the UK. And then the last one is Fusion Cooking, a translated book. And as I've already hinted at, I am going to do Strange Buildings. And this was translated by Jim Ryan. So reading this will get me the translated books, but also with this and the other one, we'll finish off this series or at least get it current because there aren't any more books out in that. And then the last category, I again don't have any books already selected for this. So advanced culinary skills. The first one, Mixology, is a book that blends genres. The second one, Unusual Ingredients, a genre you don't normally read. That one's going to be a little tougher. And then third one, Molecular Gastronomy, a book with science. And I've got some books that would work out for that. So again, needing to start with the first one with a mix of genres, I'll have to figure out what is calling to me that is a mix of genres. Can't move further on without hitting that first book. So these are the 7 books that I'm putting on my TBR to help start me off with the Goober's Culinary study plan. Part B, the hosting section, you can jump around for those, and that includes reading books from the host TBR, sharing a favorite recipe, cooking a favorite meal, as well as cozy cuisine, so looking at pull-picked books, etc. Those all do throughout the month. The cooking one, I'm hoping to actually make a video making something and ideally tie it into a book. I've got a couple of recipe books that are tied to different authors or books, or maybe I'll try to cook something that pops up in a book. So it might be just a fun way of getting to something else that was another goal of mine. So I'm not planning on stressing myself out by maxing out the points for this, but I am interested to go through this challenge and take part in it and see how far I can get. So check back in throughout the month of May. I'm going to try to theme a couple of my videos around this challenge. Again, just see where I'm at with check-ins or with the cooking piece. I thought it would be kind of fun to attempt theming videos for a bit. And then check back at the end of the month to see how I did, what all I read, because I'm sure I will end up wanting to read books that don't fit nicely into this, but also to see how many points I ended up earning. If you're taking part in this reading challenge, I'd love to know what kinds of books you're selecting from different categories. Definitely share that down below. Also, if you're not taking part of it, what are some books that you are looking forward to reading in the month of May? So thanks, and I will see you in my next video.